Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. I've got two very interesting topics for you today. My topic number one is, can the Solicitor General of India, to defend the government, misrepresent facts to the court? Is that right? That's my first question of the day today. My second topic is from Gujarat. There are some few recent developments in Gujarat. So let's discuss Gujarat and the COVID issues and the development thereof. Let's get right into the show. Let me start my editorial with a picture. The picture that you see on your screen is shot by Kevin Kartner. Kevin is a photojournalist from South Africa, and this picture was captured in March of 1993 in Sudan. He was covering the famine of Sudan. This picture became very, very famous. The vulture and the little girl became very famous. Kevin got a Pulitzer Award for the same. He became world famous. And in between his interviews to various television channels and news channels and his height of his popularity, he got a phone call. The person on the phone wanted to take a telephonic interview of Kevin. Kevin agreed. It was a telephonic interview, so he agreed. So, amongst a lot of questions that the reporter asked the photojournalist Kevin, one of the questions that he asked was, what happened to the girl after that? So Kevin said, I don't know. I don't know what happened to the girl because I had to leave. I had a flight to catch, so I just clicked the picture and I left. I went. The reporter asked Kevin as to how many vultures were there when he was shooting the film. Kevin said, well, there was one vulture. The reporter said, no, there were two. One was holding the camera. Incidentally, Kevin Carter got very disturbed with this phone call and with this interview. He got so disturbed that this photo started haunting him, literally. And Kevin, at the age of 33, committed suicide. Now, this is the story I wanted to tell you, and why am I telling you this story? In fact, this story was narrated by the Solicitor General, Mr. Tushar Mehta, to the Supreme Court. He was telling the story to the bench. And he was trying to connect this story to the people who have filed petitions against the mishandling of migrant crisis in India. In fact, what he said was, those who come before you, your lordship, let them establish their credentials. They earn in crores. Have they spent a penny? People are feeding people on the streets. Had any of them cared to come out of their AC offices? For these armchair intellectuals, lordships are neutral only if they abuse the executives. All these people wanting to intervene need to apply the vulture and the child story. So what he says is, coming in front of you, your honorable judges, and talking to you about migrant stories or filing petitions against the migrant stories are all like those vultures. Do they go and do anything? Do they go and help the migrant workers? Do they feed the migrant workers? This was his prayer to the court. Okay. Now let us understand what has this gentleman, Mr. Tushar Mehta, done and said about the migrant workers. Our Solicitor General misrepresented fact to the Supreme Court. He told the Supreme Court on the 31st of March that as on 11 a.m. this morning, that is 31st of March morning, no one is on the road. The migrant workers have been taken to the nearest available shelter. So he said everything is taken care of. Nobody is on the road. And the fact was that there were tens and thousands of migrant laborers in Surat on the streets. Tens of thousands of migrant laborers in Delhi on the streets. In fact, if you look at a report, there was almost 500,000 migrant laborers on the streets on 31st. And our Solicitor General went and told the court that now not a single human being is there on the streets. Everybody is in shelter home and well taken care of. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta. Okay. Further on, this gentleman went on to say on 15th of May, he said that, you see, the problem is migrants must have patience. If you want the government to help you, you should have patience. Yeah, ऐसा गाय वाय करेगा नहीं चलेगा बाबा. You should have patience. जब होएगा, जब खोएगा, तब करेगा. Without patience, this is going to be a problem. This is the Tushar Mehta, the Solicitor General of India. He was talking about the vulture story. I will tell you a little more about this gentleman. Now, he says when people, like I said, when people like Harsh Mandar and others went and filed a public interest litigation to the Supreme Court saying that please intervene. These migrants will die if you don't intervene. He told the Supreme Court, he says, these people, PIL ka dukaan khol ke rakha hai yaar. He said that, these are professional PIL shops. He said these shops must be locked down as none of them has any concern about the poor and the needy. Thousands of people are fighting this deadly disease, and it was pointed out that filing of PILs in the midst of the government's successful fight with the deadly disease is proving to be detrimental to the entire country. He said, why are these people talking about migrant workers and all? They should not file all these reports. They should sit at home, keep quiet, and let government do their successful job of fighting COVID. Because if these people keep on filing reports and talk about migrant workers and their plight and all that, you see, it is going to spoil the entire efforts, successful efforts of the government. So he said, you should not. Well, dukaan khol ke rakha, he says. This is the Solicitor General of India, Mr. Tushar Mehta. Now, I want you to decide, you, the viewers, to decide. First of all, how could a Solicitor General of India lie to the court? Because what he said on the 31st of March was misinterpreting facts. Why is he not pulled up for that? My question number 2 is, you decide in this vulture and child story, who is the actual vulture? The people who cries foul, or the people like him who decides to shut those voices? The decision is yours. My second story comes from Gujarat, like I said. On 24th of May, the Gujarat High Court slammed the Gujarat government. They said that the Ahmedabad Civil Hospital's condition is painful and pathetic. They said there are no equipments, no ventilators. The senior doctors are making the resident doctors and the interns handle the COVID patients. In fact, they also questioned the number of tests and the authenticity of the numbers. They almost questioned every aspect of the hospital and its doctors. This High Court bench consisted of 2 judges, Justice J.B. Pardiwala and Justice I.J. Vora. Now, further on the 26th of May, these 2 judges told the government of Gujarat that, listen, you know what? Be ready for an inspection. Be ready for a visit from us, a surprise visit from us one of these mornings. This was what they had said. The judges were doing their job, and I think they were doing a fine job of securing the interest of the citizens. Now, other than getting a kudos and getting a pat on their backs, the bench was shuffled overnight. In fact, it was shuffled on 20th of May, yesterday. And Justice J.B. Padriwala remained as the junior judge. The Chief Justice of Gujarat High Court, Justice Vikram Nath, came in the place of Justice I.J. Vora. Now, all this probe and all will be done by these 2 judges. So, I.J. Vora out and Justice Vikram Nath in. This is the way justice and administration is handled in Gujarat. the Gujarat model. Okay, fair enough. Now, what I wonder is, while there have been a lot of people talking about Maharashtra, and I understand their concern, people like Subramaniam Swamy and people like Narayan Rane, I understand their concern about Maharashtra, and they've been saying that, listen, Baba, this, you better change the chief minister, you better put precedence law and all here, because, things are going out of hand. Somewhere down the line, nobody seems to be talking about Gujarat. I am surprised. Are they not concerned about Gujarat? Is Mr. Subramaniam Swamy not concerned about Gujarat? All his love and affection are only with the Maharashtrians? I wonder. And one wonders why. Okay. Now, let us talk some statistics here. You see, Maharashtra, as on today, 10 a.m. in the morning, according to the Government of India, the Ministry of Home and Family Welfare, we have 59,546 cases. As on 10 a.m., 18,616 cases have been cured and discharged. People have gone home. And we had unfortunate death of 1,982 cases, which is 3.3% of fatality. This is as on today morning. In Gujarat, as on today morning, they have reported 15,562 cases. 8,003 were cured, and they have reported 960 deaths, which is 6.17%, possibly the highest in this country. But unfortunately, neither is Subramaniam Swamy, nor is anybody in Bharatiya Janata Party, nor anybody is concerned about Gujarat, but all their focus and concerns are about Maharashtra. Now, I would leave it to you to decide as to how genuine could these concerns be. Before I end my show, I have one statement to make. You see, states like Karnataka had said that we are not going to entertain people from Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, etc. to come to our states. We will block them. Why? Because people from these states come to our states with COVID and they will spread COVID in our state.
Will be restricted from the air traffic?
Mainly Maharashtra, because lot of people have come Maharashtra, so 30 to 40% are positive cases. So we are restricting people from Maharashtra in main. Second is Gujarat and Tamil Nadu.
Air traffic movement, sir?
Air traffic, 5 states we are restricting at present because traffic is very huge in Bangalore. We expected passengers will be 15,000. That cannot be allowed to Karnataka at a stretch. So we have restricted 5 states for the first stage. Then we will allow them. I told you, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu.
Fair. Each chief ministers, each state should be protecting their own states. I am not disputing that. But as a country, don't you think that it is necessary that if there is extra capacity that a state has, extra capacity in their hospitals that a state had, they should ensure that they accommodate patients from the other states to come and treat them? Shouldn't they build a system where these patients can be brought in, quarantined, taken directly to the hospital and treated in the hospital and sent back? Shouldn't that effort be taken? Isn't that why we are Union of India? Don't we do that for each other when it comes to economy? Don't we do that for each other when it comes to unemployment? Don't people go to each other's states when there is no employment in their own states? Has any states blocked saying that, bhai, hamare idhar nahi aane ka employment ke liye baba? Has any state said that? Wouldn't that be prudent? Kerala has a fantastic facility which they have created for almost 10 to 20,000 patients. Maharashtra may need that tomorrow. Wouldn't it be prudent to open Kerala doors for Maharashtra patients, somehow ensure the Maharashtra patients are taken and directly taken to the facilities, treated in the facilities and sent back without actually mingling in the crowd? The disease is spread when you mingle in the crowd. You don't mingle in the crowd. What will be the problem? How fair it will be, or fairer will it be when Kerala says, my problem is over, Baba, I am going to close everything. Is that the way it's going to work? It is not rocket science to get a group of people from one end get them into hospital and cure them and send them back. It is not rocket science. It is not that if somebody comes in, just by them being in the air, just by them being in the state, the entire air will be polluted. It doesn't work that way. Of course, you have to take efforts. And that's something that I strongly believe. I don't know if you would agree to me. Till we see next time. Namaskar. If you like to ask me any questions about my editorial or would like to interact with me, please like my Facebook page or follow me on Twitter.